This week on LOL, is a new era upon us or is it a new world order?
And the stock market crash today. What do the angels have to say about it?
And are we seeing the downfall of celebrity culture?
And will the feds lower rates? I don't know. It doesn't look too good.
All that and more.
There are so many people that are disconnected from their internal guidance. My mission is to change that.
I don't just talk stuff and repeat stuff. I'm living this stuff.
I'm your tarot master and bad vibe blaster. And you can thank me for covering your astro.
Leading out loud. Leading out loud. Leading out loud.
Hello and welcome to Leading Out Loud. We are live here, our spiritual shift show and my Motley mystic crew, talking about the energy of the week and what's happening from our psychic powers and positions. Well, folks, friends, how was your week? That's when I first start with. This last week was intense. We had a full moon. How are things going for you?
Ooh,
Crazy.
it's been good, crunchy at times for sure.
We had a new moon. That's how crunchy it is.
Yeah. Mercury retrograde. Venus went into Virgo. Today we had the moon go into Virgo. I was feeling all the Virgo energy.
Yeah.
For being Virgo rising, I've been very attentive about the stupidest things too. So.
He sure has.
Like Chris's hair.
Particularly my hair, absolutely. Well, the energy is crazy. I mean, it's an interesting week because there's a big shift happening, and we're talking about that. Our show tonight is going to be about the new era, whether or not we feel there is one. And we've had a lot happen. We're going to talk to you about the stock market crashing. We're going to talk about the federal rates because a lot of people are questioning that. But first, let's just dive into the energy that we expect this week and where we're coming from. First of all, like I said, we had a new moon over the weekend, and it was at 12 degrees Leo. This is a big deal, although it might not felt like one, because it represents a whole new story or chapter that we're going on according to the astrology. Literally, the old era is dead. We'll talk about the new era, and a new story is born. This week, ultimately, it's all about the heart and the heart getting what it wants. And I don't know about y'all, but I've seen a lot of cranky people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, totally. Like acting out, basically. I think that's because their heart is very engaged, and we're wanting to have our happiness come now. I think human beings are past the point of waiting. And we're feeling that angst going on. Mars is in Gemini, so people are, talking like Scott all the time. But Jupiter's in Gemini, so people are being open like Devon. But then it gives us a lot of
funky like Christopher.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately. But what are you all picking up with your clients energetically, and what do you forecast for the week?
I've been feeling, let's say you're saying, Christopher, there's a lot of clunkiness to it, and people are feeling very heavy-hearted too, in a sense. But I've been saying for a while, especially with Leo season, like it's going to bring attention to things that maybe you're not wanting to look at, or bring attention to things that maybe you have not gotten recognition for. So I would say it's a good time to harness the energy of the season, so we can maybe shine attention on things that we need to bring to fruition. So a lot of people are feeling, I would say, trepidatious about that. When we get something new in our lives, it's always uncomfortable too, and so I think the uncomfortable energy and maybe people reacting negatively, or just like when a child doesn't get their way, they whine and complain, it's just to me another sign of growth. And so I think it's a really good time now to start seeing things in a different light and giving attention to things that maybe you've been putting under the carpet in a sense. And so for me it's positive, but it could be very uncomfortable. Let's zoom us out here. There we go.
That was magical.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to follow your heart. You have the Ace of Cups here. I talk about this all the time. So, I think the heart-based stuff is a really good thing to do right now, and especially ignoring other people. We have the Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands, there's like a jealous person back here. And so I think that a lot of, if you're going to do a heart-based thing, like if you're going to tell your family that you're going to have like a gecko farm in your upstairs room, they're probably going to tell you that you're absolutely crazy. So, again, if you're following your heart, people are going to say you're crazy. I would do it, whatever it is you want to do anyway. And that's, really what I get here.
A glimpse of your childhood there, Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Rather specific.
Yeah, very specific. I can't
But
say
the
that
thing
word.
about people being jealous about you, Chris Reck, that's what I was getting too. In fact, one of the things that angels were talking about today was really using your intuition when it comes to people around you. I
Right.
personally have seen a lot of people overreact to like the silliest, most mundane things. Like they
Right.
say something louder than they mean to. They're shorter with
Right.
people, and even they look shocked by the way that came out of their mouth. Now, of course, we do have Mercury retrograde, but I was seeing that all last week. And so one of the big things that angels want us to keep in mind with this whole retrograde season we're in right now is to spend a lot of time alone, really checking in with your intuition for the people that you're around. And if you are feeling those jealousy vibes of people, try to remove yourself before you're reacting. And we always have that ability with retrogrades to use the RE words like review your past, reevaluate your plans, all those things. And that's going to really help you with making those objective decisions. So try to move yourself out of that energy. Another big thing the angels were talking about too was these headlines we're seeing like crazy all over the place. What you want to do is really make sure you only watch that for short periods of time. In fact, I have a pocket affirmation for you if you want to put it in the comments below. I easily receive information I need. I easily receive information I need. Put that in the comments below. I hear you laughing, Scott. But this is because, a lot of times we glue ourselves to social media because we want to hear the latest headline, but check in with how your energy feels after that. You can always tell the angels to just make sure you hear it when you need to hear it. Have you had to do that, guys, with these headlines?
Aaron. Yeah.
I ignore the news.
Aaron, guys. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Christopher, what do you think?
Ultimately, I feel like we're shaking off all of our self-love issues and learning how to be there for ourselves, and that is causing, I think, the triggers. I think the jealousy is representing some of the split. See, some people have chosen to stay on the struggle bus, and some people have decided to make themselves happy. And I think what the ones I just find that this is happening in my life too. So Saturn and Pisces means that we're facing our karma. That means that certain karmic relationships are coming to an end. If one of the two parties actually learn, they'll be moving on. So I think some of that jealousy is the fact that people are moving on without us, or people are growing in front of us and we're not growing, and recognizing that you're going to get straight to the heart. Mercury retrograde too. I didn't talk about this in the beginning. We have Mercury retrograde, and I've been Mercury all weekend, man. I was starting to lose speech abilities and cognitive abilities like Thursday. As it was slowing down, and my code went down. But I have to say, this Mercury retrograde is very nitpicky because it's in the early degrees of Virgo right now. It's in that part of the Virgo consciousness where we pick on ourselves the most. In fact, the big question with the Mercury Virgo is your mind going to be on your heart side or what? Like that's what it comes down to, and dismantling our mental habits of whatever it is you do to kind of stifle the love.
Yeah, and I agree. And also too, with the headlines and stuff too. A lot of people are taking things very personally, like as if it's them. Like it's if you don't agree with a headline, it's like they take it so personal. Like too many people have been identifying with a lot of these things in celebrity culture, politics, like it's if it's their own being, like it's their mom or something. So I think it's important for us to learn a detachment from these things. Understand we need to be very discerning on what we're reading. Is it truth? Is it actually really what we're being told? And it's not your family that's being portrayed on that media. We need to have a little bit of detachment. Some people have been so intertwined with the media that's going on too, that they've been, again, so personal with it all. Too personal.
Well, politics have become like a sport. Like people are like going over the top with their fanisms, and it's just like, maybe it's because there's no good entertainment anymore. We'll be talking about it in a later segment. Like we literally don't have any creative Hollywood anymore, anything fun and exciting.
They're fighting. The only thing
we have is
they're
like
picking
on Twitter.
fights.
Yeah,
but I've seen people choosing a politician over a family member. It's like these people don't care about you. Like I crack jokes about politicians all the time because I'm not into the whole identity politics and all that stuff. To me, it's just a very controlling, binding aspect of our society. So it's weird seeing people fight against each other like as if that's reality. That's their family versus like no, they're controlling you. They're manipulating you. They don't care about you. So I think we need to look beyond that and stop fighting against each other. With all these things.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to take. I mean, that's the whole point of self-love. It's like once you just start caring about yourself before you care about love yourself before you look for love in the world, everything in your paradigm shifts, you know. But I think
the
people might have to
emphasis.
go through something though to learn.
But it's just the emphasis on like a person like they don't know. I've never seen people like defend someone they don't know so much. It's crazy. It's just crazy to me.
Well,
But
it's
it is
because,
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
You good?
Oh, I was just going to say it is an opportunity to practice using your intuitive abilities. You know, that's one of the big things we want to work with you guys on this show about. We want to hear in the comments about when you knew something wasn't true that you were seeing on the headlines and you were proven correctly, because that's the other way we can look at it, Scott, to be aware of what's going on, but disengage. You can use your powers, right? And just be like, I'm just going to look at this from that 30,000
discernment
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, it's discernment. You know, it's because like look at everything objectively, and I think this no one's really practicing that lately. They're just too busy yelling at people and calling people names, being cruel. You know, because of, you know, their opinions. And I think that's what we're saying this fall, this era is basically that. I mean, I think in order for things to fall, it has to be in its extreme form. I think we're seeing this extremity of this divide and this obsession with, now we're seeing celebrity culture die. And so people are just now grabbing onto politicians now because they're so used to relying on a savior, like in the Pisces, you know, era. So I think now we're in the Aquarius era. It's like, now it's about humanitarians. It's about a collective energy. And so I think this is revealing that right now. It's extreme, but I think that's where we're headed, you know, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you actually lead off into the new era there. Thank you, Scott. Let's move right into it. Really, that's the topic of tonight's show, is this idea of a new era. Is there really going to be a new era? I mean, when I was a young child, I had this feeling as a child that life was going to be magical this lifetime, that something was going to happen in my lifetime that I couldn't describe. Then as I became more educated, I learned about things like the age of Aquarius, which is this, you know, alleged age after Pisces where we start to get along. But we see all sorts of plans for the new era. We see the Great Reset. You know, we see billionaires blocking the sun and trying to depopulate the earth. That's their vision of a new era. So it seems like collectively, you know, good or evil, we all agree that there is some big shift that's going to happen in our lifetime. It's, you know, rumored all over the internet and what dates they are and whatnot. You know, human design says it's 2027 is the shift. You know, different systems have different dates. So my first round to y'all is, you know, using your psychic powers and just your own history and intuiting, what do you feel about this idea of a complete new era, and how would you describe what it is?
You kick it off, Devon. Or Chris, sorry.
I can be Devon. and you know,
tonight on Boulevard.
This is the most powerful combination to me, the Tower and then Judgment card together.
Wow.
So, yeah, to me,
really
this
pulled
like,
that, huh? This is
I really just pulled this. Yeah.
Wow.
And so to me, it represents like a major revelation, but also like a big shedding of the skin. But I think the new era starts when we want it to. Judgment is like you are in the coffin. You just have to leave the coffin. You just have to step in to the new life. And so I think for a lot of us, we just have to accept that there's a new reality, which the Tower is all about, and just choose to live our lives as we want to right here. So, you know, I really think that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, well, I agree. I was getting the same thing about it's going to be a choice. It's going to be a choice. We're going to see a lot of people choosing this new era, and we're going to see a lot of people, you know, covering their eyes, plugging their ears, going la la la. You know, I don't want to look at this. This is scary. You see something new, and we have that opportunity to participate in the new era and love them from where they are, because we can't get them to get out of that coffin that you said, Chris, Reck, on their. They have to do it on their own.
Yeah, but also with that awakening is also an extreme opposite to that too. We're going to start. I think we're seeing that now too. They're in this awakening. So just as much as we're changing, the evil is changing too in their own way. So I feel like the more you're kind of awakening and ascending, the challenge is amping up. You know what I'm saying? And so there's so many different parameters. I see like even with food now. I was like, gosh, where can I really find clean food? It's getting harder. So I always, to me, see that as a representation that if the challenge is amped up, then we've awakened and we're ascending, because again, that's what's keeping us grounded too in physical reality. You know, but you know, beside my helium gay ass, you know, I tend to keep myself grounded, you know, very well, not floating away, tooting away.
Well, you can see, I mean, the astrology shows that the new era, the last time we went through maybe a new era change was the last time Pluto was in Capricorn going to Aquarius. So that was right around the American Revolutionary War. And it was indeed a new era, like to compare and contrast. the idea that a citizen can vote, the idea there was representation, the idea that you could have free speech, that you could have free press. This was a completely revolutionary new era.
Right.
So I see where we are now, and I look at the comparison and I think, wow, what does that mean in modern terms if those types of freedoms roll out? I feel intuitively that there will be a whole new a new set of freedoms for the individual.
Right.
But I agree with both of you. Some people will just hold on to that, that addiction to media, to
security,
nicotine, to alcohol, to and then virtual reality is going to be the next big probably addiction.
Yep.
But I don't think the Earth's ever been in this kind of place before. Like, even back in human history.
Well, I don't know. I've been watching old episodes of Jerry Springer's show, and it's pretty much the same. So I've been kind of revisiting old episodes. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like that was a social media back then. And so I always think history repeats itself. We're just doing it in a different expression. We are awakening, so we're experiencing it differently. And I think a lot more people are awakening, so there's different changes in that regard. But I've been seeing like the same narratives from 20 years ago being taught about today. The same things have been repeating on shows, the same keywords and buzzwords. So I just think that, history repeats itself in different formats, in different expressions. But we are awakening because a lot of us are seeing through it, which is good. I think that's the difference.
So there isn't when I say new era, I mean a profound shift, not history repeating itself. That's my point.
Well, up to this point, yeah. Right. And to me, that's 2030 for me, because I was going to get into the timing that you mentioned. To me, 2030 is where I feel like there's that major overhaul shift, because a lot more people have woken up to that repetitive paradigm of the Matrix, right? And so 2030, people are like, wait a minute, we're in this, this reality. And then we start kind of awakening in 2030, ET connections. I think that's where it really shifts for me in that regard.
Well, and this is one of those things where you really have to have hindsight to know for sure, because if we all remember what the big deal was about the 2012, the Mayan calendar, and oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And then everybody, the media that made a big deal out of it, they got quiet. Everybody's like, see, nothing happened. But actually, all of us that have been paying attention, a lot of shift has happened since 2012. There was a new world beginning there, but it depended on how you looked at it. We have that hindsight now, because that was also when Neptune went into Pisces. So I'm feeling a shift starting with Neptune going to Aries. And I definitely want to hear what Christopher says about that. But it definitely feels like we won't know until like 12 years from now, just like with the Mayan calendar in 2012. I mean, looking at it now, I do see a very different world. But to your point, Scott, some of the simulations are still the same, like the recurring things, the recurring challenges.
The programs, like I talked about last week in my show, there's certain programs that have been programmed that are false, that have been repetitive. But yeah, and we're awakening from the programs in a sense.
Well, and even programming. I mean, one of our topics tonight is clearly
that's a very subtle advertisement there, don't you think? I love it.
Clearly, Hollywood has begun to fall. I mean, ever since COVID, I've never seen less respect for celebrities. And when I was growing up, it was so big. Not that I bow to them, but I mean, even if we bring them up here on the show, people backlash. They're so disgusted by that. But it's interesting because that to me is real evidence of a new era. Because what are people paying attention to now? Where are they going? I mean, I feel like podcasts have pretty much replaced daytime television. People are instead of watching soap operas or Oprah, same thing. They're listening to podcasts. So the fact that we no longer have this someone we look up to, like. Name someone you look up to, that's popular or a celebrity right now, someone you want to be like. I honestly can't name one. You know what I mean? Like, no. What are your feelings about Hollywood, y'all? I mean, I have this sensation that with the internet and streaming television and streaming technology, I feel like we're going to just start moving into small little, video communities like ours that serves them specifically what their unique tastes are. But certainly the fall of the celebrity.
As someone who lived in Hollywood for 18 years, literally in the Hollywood Hills, I just feel like what got out of hand is that a lot of politicians utilize artists and celebrity to promote their political agendas and so forth. So then these celebrities thought that, hey, my voice matters. And so then they plaster their opinion everywhere, plus they're bought and paid for. So there's a lot of disingenuous energy behind that too. So I think that because of politics, it also made these celebrities think they're more important than what they really are. We just want to know if you're art. So that kind of, to me, has brought a lot of that decline, especially during the COVID age as well. But I think that now, I don't think celebrity is the hero anymore. I predicted back in 2013, 2014, I wrote a blog about, I predicted celebrity culture falling about, 2016. I think I projected at that time. I have to look at my website and remember. And I just remember that saying that everybody will have a chance to find their own audiences. So it would necessarily not be like there's an only group of selected celebrity or people that are leaders or heroes. Everybody's a hero in their own right. And we're more going to be collectively connected with each other to help each other out, like almost like a web in a sense of inspiration, not like here's a group of 10 celebrities that are inspiring the country. It's like that's kind of gone. I think we're all standing up in our own power and voice.
You're speaking to like a really huge shift that I think that goes from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. And that shift is that in the age of Pisces, which is two fish like working together, it was like we were codependent with society.
Right.
There were no boundaries. It was merged. And most importantly, the idea of power was outside of you. Even the Catholic Church was you pray to God outside of you. You pray through us. You don't have the right to talk to God. That's heresy. We'll burn you on the stake if you claim something like that.
Right.
And to me, the age of Aquarius is the age of the individual. I feel like now everyone is a star. People always said to me, "Oh my God, life is so." Look at everyone on Instagram and their selfies. Well, all these souls get a chance to be celebrities too. Like everyone gets that little ability, right?
Chance
I feel
to
like
be seen. Chance to be seen.
Yes,
it brought the change. That's what actually brought the change, right? It's actually the thing that inspired people to be more self-empowered, even though it's annoying. It got annoying, but I agree with you, Christopher. It's the thing that got the momentum started. About look at me now, look at everybody else, and so I agree. Yeah,
I don't see the celebrity
there's many
culture.
stars.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see the celebrity culture going completely away, though, when I read into the energy, because what you were saying, Christopher, about the different pockets of communities, there's celebrities out there that I've been keeping an eye on that are dabbling in the spiritual world. They're testing their audience to see where can I go with this? And is this a little too woo-woo for my audience, or do they love it? And I think we're going to start to see people coming out on different levels on that. And that's why the angels really want us to check in with our intuition, because some of it could be a marketing ploy,
Of course, a lot of it is, and it doesn't mean there's not good celebrities out there. I'm just saying the paradigm's definitely going to shift where it's not selected. What do you think, Chris? What do cards say about celebrity culture and that whole spiel?
Yeah, I think that it's like a messaging issue with celebrities and, just them being out of touch, like 5 of Wands, 8 of Wands. It's like a lot of talking, but also like a lot of conflict with the 5 of Wands or, just even, kind of like conflicted beliefs. I think, there was a big thing on TikTok where they were trying to cancel a bunch of celebrities because they had like this party that was like the Hunger Games, where they were all like dressed up and everything like that. And it was almost like, it was pretty weird. It was pretty creepy. And I remember seeing that and I was like, yeah, this is like the whole, disconnect with society. It's like they live in one society when we live in another society. And so, yeah, I think that's what's changing.
Yeah.
And I think their system feeds them, tells the emperor nothing's wrong when the emperor has no clothes.
Right.
Like, I've never believed in Nielsen ratings being accurate. I've always felt they were fixed. I feel like NFL games are fixed. Everything's fixed. I think to some degree.
And I know that. And I know that's true because I did pay for play for one of my songs. It went well, and after putting 70,000 into it, and then I needed a couple 20,000 more, I could get in the top 10, and I was like the top 40 on Billboard, for that. But then it fell off because I couldn't pay anymore. So that was proof to me it was pay for play because I paid for it, and I didn't want to pay anymore. I didn't want to be homeless. I'm like, I don't want to be homeless over one song here, So. So yeah, it definitely is very much that disingenuous energy. But a lot of people are seeing through this, though. A lot of people are seeing through it, and so. That's a positive thing of this shift.
That's what people are waking up to, is that they have just a good chance of checking in with their intuition and seeing if this person is true or not than ever before, because there are so many ways to view a celebrity. There are so many ways to follow up and see what other people are doing and kind of gauge things. You're not stuck with the 3 channels we had growing up. I know I'm aging myself here, Christopher, but it's like we were spoon fed information through certain channels and newspapers and all that, and that's gone. So like we were saying earlier, everybody wants a chance to be seen in one way or another. And this is just a better opportunity for that. But we do have to use our intuition to see if that person's being authentic.
I feel like one thing about Aquarius is about community, and Pluto in Aquarius is about community. And I really think we're going to become pluralists. I mean, I think what we're going to have, you're already seeing like a lot of people having multiple partners. We'll have multiple, celebrities that, minor celebrities that we like, many little tiny things. So it's like we're more collecting our favorites than having one or two mega favorites. That's what I sort of feel like is going to happen.
Yeah.
And we're all gonna have many different varieties to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's time to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about the new era and some of the evidence we have. But God, who's our sponsor tonight?
Thank you, Sensei. One of the greatest things I've ever created is SeriousJoy.com. The teachers that coach you on Serious Joy are some of the most talented in the business. They use your date of birth and astrology to give you the most accurate and personalized life coaching in the world. For a limited time, subscribers to Serious Joy also receive the 40 Days of Self-Love and Ascension, a proprietary love coaching program that teaches you how to love yourself and manifest your dreams into reality. Visit SeriousJoy.com and sign up for just $3.99 today.
Today. Brilliant. And the 40 Days of Self-Love and Ascension are now live right now at SeriousJoy.com. If you have any issues with connecting to your heart, finding love, or manifesting, I have a program that will get you there in just 40 days. It's not too late to start. Try us now at SeriousJoy.com. All right, friends, we are back, and we were talking about the new era versus the old era. And one, I think, we talked about celebrities, and Hollywood is changing. The entertainment has been diversified into many channels. Another topic I think is interesting is seeing the fall of royals in England. Like, it seems like after Queen Elizabeth, that might be the end of it. There's so many aspects to it that we can talk about and dive into. First of all, you see brothers Harry and William fighting in the press. There's a real question if Harry's even a legitimate son of Charles. He's a ginger. You know, like, Harry and Meghan, like, they're a whole nother shtick in their own here in the United States, and we don't even know if that marriage is working. Another question is Diana. So first of all, just a big scope of things. Do you sense psychic awareness that the royalty of England is going to disappear and be reworked?
I'll go. I think it's going to be reinvented. I think that
Ooh.
it's going to be changed in like maybe how like their approach. And even actually, Nine of Pentacles kind of surprises me. That would be more like generous, more kind of like what's the word I'm looking for here? Giving money, more kind of focusing on charity is the word I was looking for. But the Fool is a new journey. It's like they're taking a new journey that they've already been on before. So I don't consider the Fool to be reinvention, but it kind of is, because again, he's going on a journey again. And he's doing something again. But what I don't like, Seven of Swords is just like putting on a new pair of clothes, right? It's like kind of the same thing dressed up different to look different.
Yeah, see, that's interesting you said that too, because I the word I heard was staged, like staging, like a staging type of thing. So they might restage a couple things to make it appear differently, but it's really kind of the same thing, but just present a different presentation. So that's kind of the first information I got regarding this. So I don't know much about the royals per se, so that's strictly an intuitive read.
Yeah, I was getting something similar. I don't know a lot either, but I do know that even in the US, we make royalty out of people. So even if we don't have the royal bloodlines, we do have a tendency, or at least the media does, to crown someone something, make them the best, or make them just untouchable with certain things. And we've seen the fall of that, right, over the last few years with a lot of celebrities going down.
Right.
So it's going to be reframed. I definitely get that too, with that Chris and Scott got. But people love this stuff too. There is a level of magic in some of this stuff too that people really cling to, the ability to affect so many people. So, it'll be interesting to watch the way it gets reframed, but I think too many people love that energy to allow it to just completely disperse.
Well, I don't think anyone wants to get that thing about it with Hollywood too, is we love the red carpet. We love the glamour. We love to watch that sort of aspect. So humans are feeding that monster. I think at the same time, we wish we could be that. So there's, I think, still a placeholder for it. Right. But I get this sense that the royal families might pull back. You mean like the well, all the other there's royal families in other countries in England. You don't hear about any of them, right? Like they're
Right.
just not a part of the government at all,
At all.
right? And what I kind of psychically feel is that they may be falling into that sort of background position, and less pomp and circumstance. And I also feel that things will. I don't know. I don't want to make a bleak prediction, but I don't really feel the king around very long. Do you guys have any pickup on that, King Charles?
I don't feel him going anywhere right
You don't?
now. I mean, no, I don't.
I was getting like feeling like a 5-year bracket for some reason. Like just,
Okay.
5 years, it could be in a flux with that at some point,
Okay. So let's ask some other bleak questions. Since we're on the topic here, and it is the fall of the Royals, so we'll let them fall after this episode, folks. We're not going to
Don't fall asleep now.
bringing up. Do you all feel that Diana's death had some sort of causality other than her driver?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do, yeah.
I heard the
Foul
word
play.
interception. Foul play. I heard
Foul play.
interception. There's some sort of interception there going. And I feel like she was actually on a mission to do something that they were trying to intercept, actually.
Okay.
So I think where she was going is very important to understand. Where was she actually going, actually? What was she planning to do at that point? And I think that
she
was the
going home.
interception.
She was trying to get
Yeah.
home to her kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was an interception there, I feel, with somehow with that. And I think that's why it was staged.
Yeah.
Or not staged, or somehow, it was a causality, like you said. That's why I always felt that.
MI6, like something. Yeah,
Something.
no, yeah. I already, I felt, I always did feel, and this is even, I was quite young when it happened. I think my son was 2 years old, so I was probably 26 or 27. And even then, I got a psychic feeling like that someone had rammed the car, that the car was rammed off the road, that something came in and rammed it off the road. That's what it felt like. I mean, I had that vision at that age, and I wasn't even looking for stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, which I feel like, she must have been some sort of, she had a lot of secrets on the royal family, obviously.
I feel like she was about to do something to expose that, and that was an interception. Like whoever rammed her, it was an interception for her to do. That's what I always felt, and I still feel to this day. Especially when she passed, I almost felt like I got confirmation from her spirit in that regard, because I keep feeling that like I was being prevented. It was trying to stop me. It was intercepted of what she was about to do or expose.
And then Queen Elizabeth didn't like respond for like a week or something. To me, that always felt a little suspicious. Like there was some awareness of how or what, and she couldn't hold herself together. She's a step 0 Taurus like Hitler. So I don't think she's afraid to send someone to their death. Just saying, like she had those ovaries, she could pull that off if she had to. So another, conspiracy is Harry the illegitimate child of Diana.
Ooh.
We brought this up before.
I
What's
think
it say?
Three of Swords. It definitely could be. We got the Fool again with the royal family. So, and the Fool would be being like foolish or something along those lines. But the Fool is a symbol of royalty. Like it has this little dog right here. It's a Maltese, and it's the dog of royalty. So, which is very interesting. But Three of Swords, that's like third party or something else.
Right.
Yeah, children. Yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Devin, you're very quiet.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan. What the angels say?
Because I am not touching this one first.
This is one of those things where the angels won't comment. They won't, they're not going to be gossipy.
Right.
But I do.
That means yes.
Yeah. I do feel like we're back to Princess Diana. There definitely was also a foreign energy. I was waiting for a moment to say that because I know everybody wants to blame the royal family, but there's so many different threads that are woven in with the way that people react to royalty and the power that the royalty has on other areas in the world. And so there was also foreign energy involved in that. It definitely was foul play, but everyone wants to just go right to blaming the royal family. And I'm getting, there's a lot other things going on there. And then as far as obviously I feel like I see her in Harry so much. It's kind of hard to see anything else. Yeah, definitely. But as far as it being with Prince Charles, now King Charles, I'm getting a no comment right now is what I'm getting. Which
Or you just gotta know.
Ooh. That's Diane doing this.
I
to the
gotta
angel.
know.
She's up there in heaven. You shut up! You don't tell him. That's funny. It's possible.
The
They
proof,
just
the
get
proof is in the hair color.
Well, I can't remember who was your boyfriend at the time. Who was from an Arab family?
Yeah, that's why they.
Oh,
That's
I
why they
haven't
think
heard that.
they killed her, is because she wanted to like marry that guy that you're talking about,
Yeah, I can't remember how his name is.
or
but
she was going to leave the marriage, right?
He died with her. I mean,
Well, she had already left the marriage, I believe. And I don't know if she wanted to marry him, but I believe he wanted to marry her.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there was talks of that for sure.
yeah.
Mhm.
I can't remember quite his name now, but yeah, I saw. I don't know if you guys have watched The Crown. Have you watched The Crown?
No.
It's actually
I
pretty
have.
decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
walks
good.
through like these different scenes of of Princess Diana's life and whatnot, and they're allegedly true. They're really juicy, but the latest one talked about her romance spurring up with him and how it spurred up, and that family was trying to get access to the crown his whole life. The father of the guy who died of her boyfriend, he had, bought all sorts of Great Britain property and was always trying to have time with the queen. So these are in-laws that were going to be a royal pain in the ass, apparently. Kind of thing. So
For lack of better terms.
Right, absolutely. Well, I do feel that we're definitely in a pause, right, with royalty. We're in a pause with celebrity. We're seeing a bunch of things in that sense. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying that if the collective is shifting the spotlight, then that includes them too. But Dodi Al-Fayed, was that the name of the boyfriend, by the way?
What was his
Yeah,
name?
that's what I'm seeing in the
Dodi
comments.
Fayed.
Yeah, Jody. Yes, Fayed. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that for sure that the spotlights will be shifting for everybody. So, and I think that's kind of what we're seeing. The royals are included. So, if God has a mission, if God has a plan, right, for things to change, then that includes everybody. No one is excluded from that change.
And where does our attention go to? That's my curiosity.
Us, the people,
Us ourselves.
collective.
Yeah, yourself.
Again, because we've been saying, as I said at the beginning, you concurred with me that the fact that we're changing we're all individual stars collectively interwoven to help each other, not just a hand-selected group of people. So that's a change.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to our Age of Pisces, Age of Aquarius. One of the things about the Age of Pisces, it's like the Age of Aries was all about domination and control and ruthlessness. And then the Age of Pisces, suddenly with all this darkness had fallen, is the rise of the hero. This idea of a hero. And if you want to look at the big picture of things, it seems like our hero and the idea of hero is decaying. Like it's no longer a thing. Like we must now be our own hero, it seems like.
Right. Yeah.
We've certainly fallen out luster with all other heroes right out there. Again, name someone who's your hero. You know what I mean? Like exactly. I wanted to put a cricket sound in there, but we weren't prepared. Right? So you needed to. So I feel like energetically, spiritually, how do you all see this in regard to the hero? We can talk about Joseph Campbell too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think the definition is changing. You know what I mean? I mean, before it's like we looked up the hero, now we're looking within for the hero. You know what I'm saying? So, I just think that we are the gods and goddesses of our own myth, our own story. And so I think we're starting to realize this. I think, even though I kind of cringe at the manifestation communities, but I think there's a good part that people believe in, hey, I am in control of my life, right? I could get what I want. It's like, yeah, you can. And so I think we're starting to uncover a lot of that internalized, independent energy. So yeah, I just think the definition of hero is changing. So it's instead of looking outward, we're starting to see it inwardly.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Scott. It's almost too like there will be this silent recognition of heroes that we will begin doing, where I won't even know the person's name, but I'll recognize the heroism in that person for something they did for someone else.
Right.
Yeah. So it's going to feel like almost again, like we were talking about earlier, a hindsight, like after the fact, you're realizing, wow, this person really stepped into their power and really shared it with the world. And now you're going, okay, that person's my hero, but nobody's telling you that they're a hero. You don't necessarily know the whole story. So it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds too.
Yeah. Chris is my lizard hero. So thank you.
That's all I've ever wanted to be.
What do you think about lizard?
I think that it's like this what we were talking about earlier with following your heart. I think there's like this split where your heart is saying do one thing, society is saying, get a career, get a job, do whatever. And so I think that, to be the hero, it's like you have to do that thing your heart is telling you to do without, but maybe it doesn't make like logical sense, because maybe you went to college to be like a dentist or something, but you actually want to breed geckos. It's like, again, that's like a big gap. And I think that the heroes, or becoming your own hero, is actually, moving to, kind of like moving towards the thing that is scary, or doing the thing that scares you, but it's in your heart. So that's what you actually want to do.
It is heartfelt.
Hero.
Yeah.
I think that song Brian McCary keeps playing in my mind.
Probably one of the most defined in pop culture definitions of the hero comes to mind from Joseph Campbell's work, where he defines a hero's journey. And he says, a hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger. And there are stages of the hero's journey. One is the call to adventure, where the hero leaves the ordinary world and crosses a threshold into the unknown. Then there's the ultimate boom, where the hero achieves significant victory. And there's the return, where the hero returns to the ordinary world transformed, often with newfound wisdom, which ultimately, Star Wars copied that completely. So it seemed it's that format completely. So I still feel like that, who's given their life to something bigger than oneself. Isn't that all of us? To some degree, isn't that?
Well, it's also too, Christopher, what you talk about, like us being willing to really admit what we really want. I think that's part of the new era too.
Yeah.
Where it's just like you weren't allowed to say that after all the money you spent on dentist school, you want to raise geckos, Chris. Like that's not allowed. Like that's against societal conditioning and what our whole family has done for centuries, So it's almost like just having to really go within. That's what I love about the 40 Days of Self-Love, Christopher, is like you're really asking yourself over and over and over again, if I could have anything and time and resources and whatever wasn't a factor, what would it be? And most of us are afraid to admit what it really is. And maybe now
or don't even know. A lot of people are starting to discover what it is. A lot of people like, I never know what it was. A lot of people have a hard time saying, well, what do you want? Like, I don't know. It's like, because they never were able to focus on that of the self and recognizing who they are. So I think a lot of our own perspective, our own, expressions are starting to pop out too, like an Aquarius. So I definitely feel that's a lot of people have been kind of finding new ways of expressing themselves. And that includes, of course, knowing what you want, just like Chris is getting ready to express himself in the hot tubs. Here in Palm Springs soon.
with lizards.
With lizards, yeah.
Well, okay. What about, part of the hero thing also is a motivator, I think, for ourselves. Like we're sort of motivated by going above and beyond, by doing bigger and better. And it's funny because people seem to be less motivated as this hero myth starts to fade. So the question is just like, if you're not going to be motivated to be great, what's going to motivate you? That's one of the questions. And the other is like, have we seen the hero turn out to like flash media, like social media? I think you see a lot of everyday heroes coming out on social media too, is what I'm finding. People applauding others.
Well, that's the definition changing though, right? Like, so someone could like see people. I'm sure we've all heard some say, "Oh, you've been my hero for what?" I'm sure we've all heard that. I'm like, we're humble. We don't want to take that. But I just think we're starting to see that someone could be a hero when, I've stopped one time and helped an old man because his car broke down, took him to the gas station. And he's like, oh my God, you're a savior. It's like little things like that. Or people help me out in a time of need where I needed that last minute, assistance. I mean, I think we're starting to be more appreciative. And that to me, the more you appreciate those things, the hero ideology will start crumbling into different fragments. You know what I mean? Like, I can see the heroic energy within Christopher and with Chris and with Devon. I can see through all of you guys, have you guys maybe inspired me in different ways that, I wouldn't have gotten before. So in a sense, you guys have been heroic in my energy of helping me and so forth. So
you're welcome.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Humble hero. Definitely not from the God energy.
He is a hero. But my point is like, if we come out of the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius, most of our motivation has been struggle. Like we're all, it's all about the struggle. And so I'm wondering, maybe that might be a moment of temporary confusion, even why Hollywood is falling and royalty are falling, is because this idea of struggle. And if anything, I feel, or what I coach at seriousjoy.com is I do think we have to be our own heart's hero at the end of the day. Like I think we need to rescue our heart.
But that's why we've been struggling. Because we haven't been looking above everywhere else for it.
Because we were told to save lizards. Like we were told these crazy things to go outside of our Right, exactly.
Devin, what were you going to say before? You were going to try and say something?
Well, I didn't want to get us too off topic, but it reminds me of what we were talking about backstage, where we're also being asked, especially with Pluto and Aquarius, to own our own hero within, right? With
Right.
what we're talking about, if you witness a car accident, we were talking about this backstage. A lot of times our energy is there for a reason. The angels have made sure that we are there. Even if you don't even know that, your energy alone could have shifted the way that accident, the outcome of that.
Right.
And you need to give yourself credit for that. That's kind of where I was going with that thought process there is, you are a hero. Every single one of you has a hero within you that you may not even realize you're using it.
So many different levels.
Even know the way you're affecting other people just by standing next to them and giving them a smile. I mean, we talk about those kinds of things too, but not even intentionally. I think that's a big thing of what we're seeing with this new era too, is really owning your ability that just by vibrating at this higher rate, which all of you are, because you're here watching this show with us and you're focused on this, then you're already being a hero. That's where I guess I was thinking about that topic.
Right. And there's got to be heroes in every level of consciousness. It can't just be one hero at the top and we're all looking up. There's got to be heroes at every different level of consciousness, those helping in different levels of experience. And so what I might talk about, what you guys might talk about, may not resonate with someone who's maybe a little lower in their experience in their spiritual journey. I don't mean that to be dismissive. I just mean to be as far as their progressions. So every voice can resonate with different levels of consciousness. And I think that that's what we're seeing. We need different heroes at every level, not just one level,
But is it hero? Maybe the word is more like influencer or teacher or sensei.
But sensei.
But this is
the point. That's the point.
Is life a fight anymore? Is it a struggle? If we go back to Joseph Campbell, it's like, struggling with something larger than ourselves. Really, ourself is the struggle.
Yeah, but right. But don't you think that whole heroistic type of energy and storyline is meant to show that we are actually the ones that this is the hero, that we're the largest version in a sense, not that it's detachments, but within us? Isn't that maybe the intention of the hero energy?
I just feel like we've sort of idolized heroes in this old era, and I don't know if that word is going to mean anything in the future. Is what I'm putting out there. Like,
no, I agree.
But it's more like the star, the celebrity might be the teacher, the wise one, the wizard, the one with the magic. Like if we're going to metaphysics, we might start to begin to idolize really kind of gurus in a way of being able to do, ascend. It may not be just because you play a part in the play, Yeah,
I don't think majority of people put that much weight on the terminology of hero. They just use it so loosely now, and I think that's probably just like I said, changed definition. But yeah,
what's the idea of someone rescuing me versus someone teaching me? That's my point. Like,
gotcha.
Someone rescues me.
It's
like we no longer want to be rescued. Like we're not in a place to be rescued. That's why I think it might be a retiring idea.
Right.
Because we rescue ourselves. So maybe hero. That's what I'm saying. The person who helps you rescue yourself becomes the closest version to a hero we have now. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm just stroking my own fire here.
But I get
we'll be right back.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's risky too, though, because we've seen the fall of gurus. We've seen the zealots out there that have led people en masse to their own destruction. So there's that. Maybe that's the part that we have to go into the own hero and rise above. Right. Really stepping into our power and making sure we're not giving our power away to the teacher. Because that's where, like Scott was saying earlier, we see history repeat itself with the same challenges.
Well, and also you see now that celebrity culture, all this stuff is crumbling. People are fighting for that attention now. Like no matter, do everything, because it's not working. It's crumbling. So you see a lot of people try to fight for that attention, to be the hero again, to be the leader. And so you're seeing a lot of that scattered energy, and distortion.
Yeah, usually on TikTok.
Instagram ads. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, so funny. All right, folks. Well, we're going to be right back after a quick little break here and a word from our sponsor. God, what would you like to tell us again?
Serious Joy is the proud sponsor of LOL Leading Out Loud. Changes are coming, my children. Coming this fall, world power will shift as we know it. So you may want a team of life coaches and astrologers walking by your side. You don't have to take my word for it, but I recommend SeriousJoy.com because their enlightened staff and customers on the Ascension Path are here to walk the walk with you every day. Why not give it a try? You could say this message is a blessing. Visit SeriousJoy.com and sign up today for just $3.99.
Nice job, God.
On a turntable. Man, phone over there.
Nailed it.
All right, so it's time, Chris. It's time to shoot the shit.
For shoot the shift, we're gonna ask all of you a question. So the stock market has dropped like 1,000 points today. Crypto is down, and we wanted to ask all of you, use your intuition. Let us know in the comments if you think the Fed is going to lower the rates, and we're also going to answer this question, I believe, right now as well.
Absolutely. I think we just merged the last two segments.
Oh, we did.
Just clumped it
Never
together.
mind. I mean, Scott.
Well,
Yeah, what he said.
let's talk about the market first. Let's talk about the market first because there's been a lot of discussion. There's been a lot of rumor out there that that we're on the brink of a market crash. There's been a lot of people pulling out. I can't remember, what's his name? Super rich guy who invests. Cannot think his name right now. He just pulled out of Apple significantly. So, and today we saw this fall. Now, from what I understand, the collapse is due to the fact that the Japan market fell, and we do a lot of borrowing from Japan at a lower interest rate, so that we can do quick trades. So it sort of like took the steam out of our charge. But the real question is, and this comes up all the time with clients, I mean, people seem to be a bit worried about money. Uranus is about to go to step 27 Taurus, which will be this week, later on this week. And if there was a volatile degree where shift would happen, that would be one I would choose, 27 Taurus. It's basically a change. And if I'm not mistaken, the stock market crash happened around a 27 as well. In the original time. So, do you feel the economy is going to hold up, or do you feel like we're going to have an adjustment, upon this presidential election? What do you pick up? Should people keep their money in?
I mean, I when there's silence, I'm like, should I go? So, should I put myself on the line with this prediction?
Scott, go first.
I don't know. I just think it's all like it's predictable in a sense. I don't mean psychically. It's just like the routines, the Warren patterns Buffett. Are kind of, Warren Buffett. It's all, kind of predictable in a sense. So it's always like up, down, up, down. So do I see them lowering rates? Is that later? I don't know, but I don't necessarily see them lowering rates. It's just a typical control of the market type of idea. And so I think it's always around election time. And so it's nothing out of the ordinary to me. I don't know why every time it drops, people make a big fuss. It always drops, always rises, always drops, It's like someone who needs a blue pill all the time.
So Scott says, risk the money. Devon?
The person. No, I mean, I personally
should keep their money in or pull it out.
Well, you make your own decisions, but you make your own decisions, but you would have to watch the trends to understand, the timing of when to pull. I mean, day trading would be more of a person that would know that for change. But for me, it just seems typical. So you would know what to do. I personally would not put any more in. Personally, I wouldn't dump any more in. I wouldn't invest anymore right now.
Well, yeah. What are your guides saying? I mean, there are warnings. I mean, wouldn't you get a warning?
No, that's what my guides are telling me. Exactly what I was saying. That's coming from. That's what my intuition is. So, again, it's nothing out of the ordinary, and I would not invest anything more at this time. And if you want to take out, I would take out. But I don't see a massive dip after this. I don't see it shooting back up. I just see it kind of climbing back up over time. After I would say end of 2024 into 2025. So I just think it's going to drop, plateau a little bit, and I see like a curve like this. It might shoot up again. It's just to me, it's just typical. I don't know. I don't know people.
I don't know. I psychically feel there's a lot of meddling with the market. I feel like there's a lot.
There always is. But to me, I feel the same way with crypto. There's meddling with that. You have YouTubers saying this new coin is out. Now invest in this coin. The coin goes nowhere. And they're the ones that benefit from promoting this coin. It's all manipulated. It always is manipulated. But whether or not I see if the interest rates are going to drop, I don't see that dropping significantly in anytime soon.
So you think it's going to kind of hover?
I'm not the financial guru here. Chris should speak more than me about this.
No, we're just asking your psychic awareness, like what your psychic side's picking up.
That's my that's my intuition. I just can't articulate it very well as far as with that because I'm not heavily into crypto or the stock, but that's kind of my overall vibe. And I've been, my Eric has been doing his crypto, and I tell him, you pull it out now or don't pull it out, keep it in, and he kind of feels the intuitive aspect of that too, and we kind of see it benefiting him. I told my fellows to interject here.
Daryl Blankenship, who's the sole brother of the show and yours, says that it's Warren Buffett, first of all, who I was trying to stumble over. And he said something, I just lost the chat here, but he said basically Warren has $32 billion in cash ready to buy low. So that's what I was saying. Warren Buffett was pulling out. This is suspicious. Like Warren Buffett was pulling out of Apple. He's like one of the biggest investors of Apple.
Right.
He cashes up. So the idea is like, does he know something's about to happen? Coincidence that he cashes out before the stock drops? Because what they do, of course, is once those stocks hit bottom, they buy the wealthy. So someone knew it was happening. He did.
Well, of course, of course, and the guy's a pro at this. I mean, he's freaking the mastermind behind stocks and so forth. So I don't know. We also have to understand maybe what he knows about Apple. You know what I'm saying? And maybe something about Apple might come to, to head at some point. So, there's so many different layers to this. It's not so black and white. And, because I've been today wondering what's going on with Apple. I had like a weird intuitive vibe about like Apple kind of doing something weird in the next, 6 months. And so it was kind of some weird intuitive vibe came with me before I even knew that he pulled out of Apple. So he might know something about Apple too.
Well, it doesn't take a psychic to know that. Apple has been.
Do we have some other reads?
Yeah. I was going to say. Go ahead, Chris. Oh, okay. Hi. So I feel an adjustment coming in different sectors. That's what I'm feeling. We're not going to see a massive just disruption across the board.
Right.
The other thing that I often get from the angels is that we're usually the last to know about these things. Like we're usually the last to know. That's why in traditional, studying and learning about the stock market, they do not advise taking hot tips because it's a hot tip because everybody knows about it and it finally got to you. So what you want to do is take a practical approach to these things. You do want to buy low, sell high. You do want to, dollar cost average and watch it yourself. Like this is not financial advice, but it's also like, come on, we all have to use our common sense when we purchase our groceries and pay our bills. The same goes for this. So it's just a matter of whether you want to participate in that energy. You have to give up to the fact that there are bigger powers at play and we're the last to know. So, it's also, like you just decide if you want to be part of that or not.
Yeah. And the Japanese market crashed. So that has a lot to do with it too. So there's so many different parameters of it. You know what I mean? Chris, I'm waiting on you, man.
Well, my hot tip is that I tell for like years now, I've been telling people, especially all you crypto people out there, that before Mercury retrograde is always like not financial advice. I failed math my entire life, right? But what I would say is that crypto always goes down every single retrograde. I've tracked it over many retrogrades, and I don't know. I feel like smart people sell right before a retrograde and know that it's going down. So I think we need to pay attention. I don't know. I have a lot of crazy conspiracy theories about where I think money is going. I think money is changing anyway. So I think money will be different, probably after 2025. So
I think the elite
no, it doesn't matter to me if there's a collapse or not, because like, to me, it's not even worth worrying about because I think we're entering into a totally new economy system, whatever the hell you want to call it. So I don't even care. Right. So that's how I look at it.
And I think the elites too, you practically look at the astrology too. I think the elites understand the timings of when it comes to astrological currents too. I don't think they're stupid to that. I think they utilize that as well.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't think it's a free market. So I think if anything, the astrological tells them sort of the energy of the people and where people are and where their toleration is. Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know if they have any good astrologers. I don't know. They haven't been able, they haven't been able to conquer the world yet. It's been how many? 26,000 years?
Because they're not in control.
So yeah. What's that?
Because they're not in control. They can control a lot, but they're not in control. We have a creator that's in control of all this. We have a divine purpose that they can't control and get over. So that's why they're not able to accomplish that.
And we can't forget that we have our own manifestation abilities. What we focus on expands. So we don't want to like constantly worry about what's going to happen. Like we need to be like Chris and say, we don't care.
But we also incarnate in this planet to understand we need the challenge, but we don't need someone taking over. So we need to grow and learn too in our own right. So you do your thing, but you're not going to like control everything because I need to grow and evolve my soul to this, this physical reality. So no, they can't.
Well, there's a lot of control. I mean, the interest rates for one. We have a comment from a viewer. Feds will drop interest rates for election purposes, and we will be in a full-blown depression worse than 2008, 2009. I didn't think the market would crash until September, though. Interesting. So we have a mystic there. Well, that's my point, actually. The question of if there are people who can pull strings, who benefits if suddenly the economy crashes? I mean, if you lower interest rates, actually you speed up the economy, though, don't you? Like, because borrowing becomes easier, and so people banks start, business start borrowing instead of to be able to pay things and pay off interest. So the more they do less borrowing because they lose money when there's higher interest rates. So it does stimulate the economy.
there wouldn't be a market without the manipulation. Period. I don't agree with the depression thing. People have been touting depression for like 10 years, and since 2008. And so I don't really feel that intuitively. But again, there's always manipulation in the market. There wouldn't be one without manipulation. That's just my perspective on it.
Well, I hope that changes. It'd be nice to have a fair market sometime in our
It
lifetime.
It is. I think we're changing to a new system. That's what, like, I believe with Chris, in that sense, the system will be changing. And so that's one thing that would be beneficial in the long run. But
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I definitely feel that as well. So lightning round, then I guess we'll do a lightning round. Will the Feds, yes or no, lower rates before election? Speed round. Devon.
No.
I have to call your name, Chris.
I'm trying to decide what this means. So,
Okay.
yeah, I feel like saying no as well. So I'm going to go with no on this one. Yeah.
I said no, but I feel like slightly, like maybe a couple points, but not really.
I psychically feel some relief to generate hope, and I do feel like it's being done for presidential candidate Kamala Harris. I feel like the Feds are backing her. That's what I feel psychically, basically. And that also means that if President Trump is reelected, I could see, the economy tanking magically, suddenly, after it was so terrific, whatever. Because I do think that sometimes it's used as a weapon, I mean, I talked to realtors offline, and because I've been looking at property, and housing market has stopped. People who have to get homes are getting homes. Everyone's waiting and sitting on what they have, and it's hurting, the home industry or whatever. And it's just the interest rates alone. So, all right, folks, you heard it from here. It's pretty much we're split 50-50. Half of us think that it'll go down, half of us think it'll go up. We'll see who won in the upcoming weeks.
Well, I said a little bit. I said no, but a little bit, but not massively.
Okay, on the record for a little bit.
Clarify. Let's end on a positive, because we don't end it there on interest rates. Let's end on some positive note. What do you think is good prediction for the next week ahead?
There's nothing good happening. That's why you need to tune in.
There's Lionsgate. We talked about that.
It is Lionsgate. We could wrap up with. So Lionsgate, first of all, doesn't really exist anymore the way we thought it was, because it was Star Sirius rising over the Sphinx in the astrology sign of Leo. But Sirius has now, through the precession of the equinox, moved to Cancer. So technically, the Lionsgate is a bit of a myth now. That energy happens in July, actually. However, the Leo space of Lionsgate, that part through Leo, is the part where our heart surrenders to God. In fact, Lionsgate 88 is 16 degrees. So it's the surrender of your heart to God. Therefore, this is the most magical time of the year, where your heart's going to, it's kind of like a Disney song. You're going to stare out the window and start to sing a song if your heart opens up and blooms through Lionsgate. What do you all experience with Lionsgate? Do you have any?
I was about to say the similar thing as you, Christopher, because I felt like the heart opening in that way too, but really recognize a divine purpose, the divine calling. And I've been seeing a lot of my clients too, like in their like transitional phase of going to more of their divine purpose. So I'll talk more about it on my live show this Thursday, actually on 8/8. So,
good plug.
Beautiful.
Yes. 8/8.
Well, we were also talking backstage that 2024 nets to an 8, so it's an extra special energy with it being 888. I personally also feel the energy more in July, so it makes sense to me why that's shifted over time. But it is always an opportunity to set intentions like we do with the lunar cycle. So I highly recommend you use this retrograde energy to review what your heart wants and then decide for your heart.
I think everybody needs to be more playful. Go do something fun.
Yes.
And be more playful. Have fun. Embrace your inner child, right?
Stop taking things so freaking seriously.
Yeah. Don't be too serious.
Thank you.
Seriously. And if you are serious, choose Serious Joy at SeriousJoy.com.
We're Planet Serious.
I'd like that for that. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for watching. Remember, folks, don't put on the shift show. Remember to lead out loud. And a final word from God. God.
Hi, God. She's a woman.
Thanks, gang. Great show. And a quick special thanks to our sponsor today, SeriousJoy.com. For a limited time, sign up for the 40 days of self-love and ascension. If you're serious about your joy, visit SeriousJoy.com.
All right, everyone. We love you. We'll see you next week. Lead out loud.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And we end.